meeting of the Grafton Zoning Board of Appeals is being conducted both remotely and in person, consistent with the temporary provisions of the open meeting law, which extends remote meeting protocols through March 31st, 2027. This meeting is convening via Zoom video conference and in person as posted on the meeting agenda, which can be found on the Town of Grafton website. Please see the meeting agenda for details on how to participate remotely. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. All participation within this meeting will be visible to others. Accordingly, please be aware that people may be able to see you, and if you screen share, it may be captured and broadcast later. This meeting will not feature public comment, and all votes taken at this meeting will be done by a roll call vote. So we were scheduled to meet tonight regarding Snow Road. They've requested a continuance. So really, we've opened the meeting. We just need a motion to continue. And I believe we've set December 18th as the next meeting date. Does that work? I know, Alex, you're away, but that'll be your first meeting that you're missing, I believe, right?
Apparently, yeah. So I think whatever works best for the group, but I should hopefully even be able to attend remotely. It's still not 100% sure that I'll be away, but that's what I was told to say. So.
Okay. All right. So is there a motion to continue case, I don't have the number in front of me.
910.
910 for Snow Road to December 18th at 7 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Ms. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. McCusker,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Mejia.
Yes.
Chairman votes yes. So that is continued. The only other topic is the workshop that's scheduled, and just logistics for that and who from the board is able to attend and who should attend. And, you know, what our ability to participate in that, if more than, I think, what is it, more than 2 attend?
So I spoke to the town clerk today because I posted, it's not an agenda. It's just, if you do a workshop, you still have to post something because the public can attend. So I posted that, and it says on it that this is just a workshop requested by the applicant. From what Amy said, if there is a quorum there, all I have to do minutes wise is say a quorum attended the workshop. Nothing was discussed regarding this topic. It was just a quorum attended the workshop, and it be that simple. So a quorum of you can attend, more than 3 of you, 2 or 3 of you.
But it's intended to be a interactive.
Right, a question
Workshop.
and answer, but it's not that you're going to be discussing the case in and of itself, because they requested it to be in with other departments to get input on what they want on the plans. I'm assuming. I don't know.
But I think that's the only thing we're going to be discussing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely gonna be discussing the case. Yeah, I'm very concerned. I'm concerned because town council said this did not need to be posted. This was not a meeting per open meeting law, as long as only a couple of us were there. I'm concerned about what happens if actually we do end up with a quorum and the only thing we're discussing is case 910, and we're doing it outside of the public hearing. You know, I don't know if I can say, but you know, it seems to me we maybe ought to try to make sure there aren't more than 2 of us there. You know, Brian Langevin raised some questions, and I think they need to be answered probably by maybe both Dan Hill and town council. I don't want to get in a situation where we screw this up.
Okay. So you want me to forward the email from Brian over to Chris Heap too?
I don't know. Brian Waller, do you share my concerns? Am I overreacting here?
No, I'm very concerned
Okay.
about this,
Okay.
especially because there's also public interest and specific public interest. People have asked about attending this and the dates and times for it. I think it would be, underhanded to kind of go off in a room and meet and exclude the public. If there's a quorum of the board there.
All right, I'll I'll forward Brian's questions to Chris Heap tomorrow morning, and I'll keep at least you two in the loop on the email chain and Dan, and see what comes of it.
Do we know who plans or wants to attend the workshop?
So as far as I know, it's all of the team on Snow
Yeah,
Road.
No, I mean amongst
from the
us.
board. Oh, I don't know. From here, I don't know. The only one that said definitely they could attend was Alex. Other than that, I haven't. I sent the email out on everything, and I sent the invite to everybody, so everybody at least knows about it.
I was planning on it unless something else came up. But
I mean, I could attend as well. My schedule opened up next Wednesday. And I feel like because they're talking to all the different departments. So is it important for us just to be there to hear? I'm assuming we'll get a wrap up from every department telling us
Well,
what they
I'm gonna-
accomplished.
I
like,
wouldn't count on that.
so
I'll take notes.
I mean, isn't this supposed to help us with our decision or
Yeah, I think so. I think there should be a couple of us there,
right?
and maybe I doubt that I'll be able to be there. I'm just kind of buried with my real job, so maybe if it's Kay and Peter Adams. I mean, did anybody else want to attend?
I'm not planning on asking them real questions. I just want to hear what they want to, what it's all about. I've never really been to a workshop.
In the 15 years I've been here, ZBA's never had one.
And I think we do need to know, like, whoever does go, do we have to stay quiet or can we ask questions? I think we need to know because I feel like I'd like to be there just to hear. And because I can be there, but if Dan Hill or our town council says it needs to be let 2 or less, then I'm willing to flip a coin with somebody. But
Well,
we need to know if we can engage or not. And if we're not supposed to, then
No, I mean, I can make it work, but I'd be happy for you to go instead.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
does anybody else want to go?
I'm probably
Actually, I guess we're looking at you, Brian, at this point. Brian, like Evan.
yeah, I'm probably in the same boat as Kay. I think I would like to be there if it's not going to cause a problem. I don't have any problem with bowing out if the limit is 2. I don't think it makes sense for me as the non-voting member to take one of those 2 spots. So, yeah, I would attend or make an effort to attend if the number didn't matter. But if we're limited to 2, I'll stand down.
Yeah, and who knows who we are? I mean, I completely made that up, right? So I don't know if we're limited to 2 or not. I don't know what the impact is.
If somebody can't go, then the whole thing should be canceled. That's how I feel. If a board is restricted on going to a meeting, it shouldn't be a meeting.
Well, it's not a meeting; it's a workshop. So that's
Whatever you want to call it.
And I'll double check tomorrow, and I'll look through the emails because the emails went back and forth with Chris Heap and Dan before we scheduled this workshop. So I will double check through the emails and with Dan tomorrow morning.
And I mean,
Well, along those lines, Peter, and I agree with that sentiment, but could we just make it a public hearing?
Or yeah, exactly. I mean, that's when I saw it advertised, like, wait a sec, this should just be the next meeting.
And so,
Unfortunately, we just continued it to December.
right, and I think one of the questions I asked Dan Hill in my email today was, you know, whether or not, and I used the language right out of Mass General Law from the Mullen certificates, but my concern would be members of the board not being able to attend and having that count as an absence. And we've got most of the board that, myself included, that have missed one meeting already. I wouldn't want this to be a second for one or multiple of us. If that was, you know, if we did make that a public hearing.
And by the way, what they're talking about doing, you know, Dan has called it a workshop. The ZBA has had participation in the development review meetings, and I've been part of those meetings. So, you know, and that was my expectation. Is this was all this was going to be? Is that they were going to go to the development review? The people would be there. They participate. They have questions. Whatever. Blah blah blah. You know, if some of us wanted to go and watch, if the public wanted to go and watch, I think all that would have been fine. Now that it's actually a published meeting, I feel as if that changes things. And it's not even necessarily the same development review board. It's something different. I think we need to just get some questions, you know, and I think the big question is if a quorum of the ZBA is there at this workshop, and essentially we're discussing case 910, is that a problem for case 910? That's really the question, I believe. I mean, Brian has other questions in there. I suspect in one way or another he's asking that question. Actually, I think that's the very first question you asked, really.
And are there minutes? Like, do they do meeting minutes in a workshop? Or, I mean, this is all somehow we, as the board that decides on this case or not. I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but I feel like we need to be informed of what's discussed somehow.
And what's the point of this if it's restricted to 2 people attending, but it's all information that would be useful to everyone in deciding this case?
Right.
Yeah, and by the way, I wasn't necessarily restricting it, but I was just, where I was getting at was, well, let's just say only 2 of us could attend. Right, for whatever reason, the other 5 members have other things. There's no way. I think that kind of changes it, but I wasn't necessarily looking to restrict it. And the reality is, I think there's at least 3 members who can and would like to attend. So we're going to be looking at a quorum.
Yep.
Okay,
Although maybe we're not because Brian's a non-voting member. Maybe we're not looking at a quorum. I don't know.
I had asked a while back, and I don't know if you had a chance to look into it. So we have 7 members, but only 5 vote. Any 5 of us could vote at any point in time. So is quorum 2 or 3? Yeah, 3 or
No, you're asking 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I've always been told 3.
yeah. I would assume so
I agree.
because Jiffy or I could vote. You know, all we would need is one non-associate member to appoint Jiffy and I if Jiffy and I and one other person showed up. So
Right. And Jiffy at this point is now a non-voting member
for this,
because he's missed 2 meetings.
I think we just got to get an opinion from council.
All right, I'll work on that tomorrow morning.
With the board's permission, I'd like to, before Katrina sends anything off to council, I'd like to review and make sure we're asking the right questions.
Fine by me.
Okay, so Katrina, let's collaborate on that in the morning.
Okay, I'll be in at 8.
Is Dan Hill going to be present at that
Yes.
remotely,
No, he's going to be here.
in person?
Yes. He's going to be here. Jeff's going to be here. It's going to be Paul Knoyer, Leah from Conservation, Eric and Mike from Fire. Planning really doesn't need to come in because they have really nothing to do with it. So that's who's coming.
And the applicant called this workshop, correct?
They wanted the workshop, yes.
Yeah,
They
okay.
requested it for the
Well,
last meeting.
Dan suggested it.
And yeah,
Okay,
and Dan.
that's right, that's right. That's right.
I don't know. I mean, my gut is that this should just be a public meeting. I don't know, but we'll see what they say.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
Right, so do you want me to give you a call in the morning, Bill?
Let's do it by email. Why don't you take
Okay.
a shot at it and then an email or a letter, or whatever, and then
Okay.
I'll see what I can edit it up.
All right, sounds good.
By Brian, when you said public meeting, do you mean a regular public meeting like we're having now?
Yeah.
But we don't do that during the day, for one thing. That would be
Yeah.
hard.
I don't know that there's anything that says we can't, right?
Not that I probably know, but
Because if we weren't taking public comment, if it was a public meeting that was recorded, at least, there'd be visibility as to what went on, as opposed to some, just from an outsider, it looks like a backroom, negotiation session.
well, no, anybody can come. Wednesday, anybody can come, sit out in the audience. They just can't participate.
Correct.
So,
I guess how's that different from a public meeting, though?
Well, because in a public meeting, the public can get up and make comment and ask questions, where this one, they can't. This is just
Well-
a workshop.
we're probably
Public
worrying
hearing.
about scenarios that'll never happen. So,
I mean, the only one that's called me and asked me about it is Mr. Bonner,
yeah.
and that's it. So he's really been the only one who's inquired on it.
The reality is the applicant could go walking into town hall and meet with anybody there at any time.
Correct.
And they can also request to meet with the Development Review Board on the Thursday afternoons or whenever it is. And we may not even know it happened.
Right. So I was going to try and do it with the team development board, but it hinged on Dan's schedule and when Dan was available. So that's what it ended up being, was his availability versus just the regular team development meeting on Thursdays at 2.
So I guess part of the question is, do they want and or need any of us there? Because to Bill's point, if their sole goal is to collaborate with town departments, then, yeah, I don't want to speak for anybody that might want to still be there, but I don't think any of us need to be there. It's exactly what Bill just described. If they just walked into town hall and started knocking on
Right.
doors. But the way we had discussed it in the last meeting and the way that I think Dan had kind of put it out there with a couple of us attending was that a couple of us would potentially participate. And so at this point, I don't know what the applicant is looking for.
I have no idea. I have no idea what they're looking for.
And I think the applicant asked for a couple of us too, didn't he?
That's what I thought in the last
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah.
This thing's taken on a life of its own. I think we're going to need to get opinion from council and this is next Wednesday.
Yes.
All right, so we got a few days. We just I think my biggest concern, well, maybe it's twofold. One is that we can attend because there's people on the board that want to attend this, but also that we don't screw up the public hearing. And we don't do something that's a violation of open meeting law, of course, but I don't want to get in a position where we've messed up our public hearing that we've got a lot invested in. So let's see if we can't get opinion from both Dan Hill and town council and try and do the right thing.
Okay.
All right. So is there a motion to adjourn?
This is so much fun. I don't want to. I move we adjourn.
Second,
Motion was made and seconded. Ms. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. McCusker,
Yes.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Mejia.
Yes.
Chairman votes yes. We're adjourned.
Good night.